All right, first and foremost, want to give all praise to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Barakatham, and give a sincere greeting to all the brothers and sisters scattered across the four corners, teaching this word with sincerity and charity, all right? Yahweh by Hashem, the Most High, that is the Most High in the name of Yahweh Shai, who the world calls Jesus Christ, okay? All right, we teaching out of the Bible, and I want to deal with a heavy topic today, dealing with the millennial reign of the Messiah and what that actually entails. If we don't have this right, then we'll get a lot of other things wrong when it comes to salvation and who is it for and what does it entail and what does it look like. If we have this part wrong, then then the rest of it is gonna be wrong. Like if the head's sick, the rest of the body's sick. And that's one of these situations in doctrine. If we have this wrong, then we're gonna have the rest of it wrong, and then it'll bleed into a lot of other things that we believe. So it's very important that we have this down solid. Now, the problem that I see with a lot of Israelites, I don't see a lot of Christians even teaching on this because it's such a heavy topic. I've even heard that Christians say that the Revelations is actually sealed. It's a sealed book. Nobody can understand it, etc. And so I'll be reading out of the NLT today. You know what I'm saying? It's a little plainer than the KJV, and hopefully we can digest this thing, because it's to me it's very clear. Now, Israelites, on the other hand, I feel that they conflate two different periods. They conflate the millennial reign of the Messiah with the new heaven, new Jerusalem, where the Christians feel the pearly gates and the tree of life and the no killing, no sorrow. These are two different periods, and what happens is Israelites conflate these two periods and then have certain arguments about will we have kids in the kingdom? Will there be Gentiles in the kingdom? Will they be, will they be doing this, etc.? Will I have my family and da-da-da-da-da and whoop-de-whoop? And you can't really come down to a good answer on that unless you understand what is really going on. And no better place to see that is in Revelations chapter 20. It just makes it just super plain. We're going to read about 10 verses, y'all. So bear with me. It says, verse 1. All right, then I saw an angel coming down. This is when the Messiah actually returns. All right, then I see an angel coming down from heaven with a key to the bottomless pit and a heavy chain in his hand. He seized the dragon, that old serpent who is the devil, Satan, and bound him in chains for 1,000 years. The angel threw him into the bottomless pit, which then shut and locked, so Satan could not deceive the nations anymore until the 1,000 years were finished. Afterward, he must be released for a little while. So during a 1,000-year reign, Satan will be bound, but he will be released after that for a short period. Okay, it's a process. There's a reason for that to actually happen. Then verse 4, then I saw thrones, and people sitting on them had been given the authority to judge. And I saw the souls of those who had been beheaded of their testimony about Yahweh Shai and for proclaiming the word of God, that had not worshipped the beast or statue, nor accepted the mark of their foreheads and hands. They all came to life again, and they reigned for 1,000 years with the Messiah. So, he's seeing, John the Revelator is seeing these people who are sitting on thrones, and they are risen again, given life again. These particular individuals, and this is the first fruits. All right, this is the first fruits. This is the first fruits, the first resurrection. You want to be part of that. All right, they will be reigning with the Messiah 1,000 years. Okay, or the elect. You know what I'm saying? Even that a little cloudy. So I just keep it at first resurrection. All right. They will be reigning with the Messiah those 1,000 years. Okay. All right. Verse 7. All right. When the 1,000 years come to an end, Satan will be let out of his prison. He will go out to deceive the nations called Gog and Magog. And this is just really, just a name for all the nations, pretty much. A substitute for all the nations, metaphor for all the nations in every corner of the earth. He will gather them together for a battle, a mighty army as numberless as the sand along the seashore. And I saw them as they went up on the broad plain of the earth, and surrounded God's people and the beloved city. But fire from heaven came down on the attacking armies and consumed them. So Satan will be released after those 1,000 years for a short period, just to gather all of these people from outside of the earth who do not want Yahushua or Christ to reign over them. That's want to buck back. He will deceive these people one last time. They will gather up all their armies and try to attack God's people in God's city. And then a fire will consume them. Okay. Then a fire will consume them. Verse 10, then the devil who had deceived them was thrown into the fiery lake of burning sulfur, joining the beast and the false prophet. There they will be tormented day and night forever and ever. And I saw, verse 11, and I saw a white throne and one sitting on it. The earth and sky fled from his presence, but I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God, and the books were open, and another book was open, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books according to their works. So after the 1,000-year reign, those who wasn't part of the first resurrection, now they're facing judgment. Once Satan gets thrown into the lake of fire with the false prophet and the mark and the beast, then the books are out and people are being judged. All right, that second group of people are being judged out of these books. All right, and the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books according to their works. According to their works. All right, and the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death and hell deliver up the dead which were in them, and they were judged every man according to their works. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. Okay, this is the death after death. All right, and then we see that death and hell is also cast into the lake of fire. So at this point, there is no more death. All right, death in the grave has also been cast into the lake of fire. Now you have a point where there is no more death. And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. So that judgment of those, that second judgment of, pretty much everybody else won't happen till after the 1,000-year reign. Those who are part of the first fruits will reign with the Messiah for 1,000 years. They will be his battle axe. They will put these other nations under subjection till he make those his enemies his footstool. Okay, they'll be taking part in that during that 1,000-year reign. Satan will be loose. They will buck back for a little second, just enough to try to maybe just to surround the city. Then the Most High just gonna pretty much flame them up, throw them all into the lake of fire, including death and hell, and there will be no more. Then those other people get judged, and then there's no more death. Verse 21, and I saw, chapter 21, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a great voice out of the heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and God himself shall be with them and be their God. And God shall wipe away all the tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. And you can go on and continue reading. And I kind of switched. This is a parallel Bible, so I kind of switched between the KJV and the NLT. The KJV probably in that second part, but I feel y'all get the point. I feel y'all get the drift, okay? You got a timeline. You got a kind of a good understanding of the timeline and what happens. Now, it's very good to understand that millennial reign, what is happening during that millennial reign of Christ. And you can read that, a lot of that. You're going to find some of it in Isaiah. You're going to find a lot of it also in Ezekiel. Maybe like 44, chapters 44 through like 49, when the nations will still be coming up. The tabernacle will be back. In order, the Levites will be back. Sacrifices will be made again. All nations will come. And so during this period, there will be definitely, no doubt about it, there will be Gentiles there calling on to the Most High. And we have to understand what our role is as that royal priesthood, especially if you want to be parts, or especially if you're trying to make it into that first fruits, so that you can be part of that first resurrection and end up being, part of his royal priesthood to actually end up reigning with him. Matter of fact, let me go back to that in verse, I think it's verse 6. All right, blessed are the Revelations 20:6. Blessed and holy are those who share in the first resurrection. For them, the second death holds no power, but they will be priests of God, and Christ will reign with him. And Christ will reign with them 1,000 years, and Christ will reign with him 1,000 years. All right, so what I'm saying? Blessed is that person that's part of that first resurrection, because they are going to be a royal priesthood. Now, if you say here talking about you a royal priesthood now, you are very mistaken. All right, you have not been chosen to be no priest yet. That happens during Yahushua's return. That judgment happens, and that's part of those are part of the first fruits. What I want to deal with also is because Paul is going to wrap this thing up for us too and give us a little clarity on this thing in 1 Corinthians chapter 15. I think we want to start at verse 23. Matter of fact, we start at verse 22. And I read the NLT. All right. Just as everyone dies because we all belong to Adam, everyone who belongs to Yahushua or Christ will be given a new life. But there is an order to his resurrection. Christ was raised as the first of the harvest. Then all who belong to Christ will be raised when he comes back. After that, the end will come, when he will turn the kingdom over to God the Father, having destroyed every ruler and authority and power. For Christ must reign until he humbles all his enemies beneath his feet. And the last enemy to be destroyed is death. For the scriptures say God has put all things under his authority. Okay, and so the last enemy will be death, which we seen will be cast into that lake of fire after that 1,000-year reign. And then once death is cast in there, then we see the judgments going forth to everyone that's according to their works. So the works are very important. Also, the faith definitely very important. But let's not forget, you can see my faith by my works. But it's very important we understand that. And if we don't, like I say, we're conflating the two. We're conflating when that New Jerusalem and death is destroyed to, us having kids and people having kids during the millennial reign. All right, because there will be people having kids. There will still be war. There will still be pain. Shalaki, there will be a hierarchy there. There will be a hierarchy there, and the Most High's people will be in authority. It's just no way around that. Another example of that is in 1 Kings chapter 17. I just paraphrase for time purposes, but the Assyrians had took the northern kingdom of Israel into captivity. All right, and taking them into captivity, they placed another people. So they pulled the Israelites out of there. They pulled Northern Kingdom out of there, the house of Israel. They pulled them out of the land. And then they put other foreigners that they had done captured, and they replaced them and put them in the land. And you want to do that to cause confusion. All right, you want to do that to cause confusion, put people in another land, keep them dependent on you, and so that's the way you can keep authority. Same mind tricks, same things that are going on today under this captivity that we're in here. And so when he placed these people into Samaria, the Syrians placed these other people into Samaria, the lions start eating them. And just had lions just running out just to eat them. And then the people go back to the Assyrian king, and they like, listen, man, like, this place you put us in, man, the lions are eating us because we don't know how to serve that God. We don't know how to serve the God there. There are lions eating us. So the king pretty much tells them, hey, man, get a priest from that nation of people so that you can understand how to worship that God. Let that priest teach y'all how to understand how to worship that particular God. And that's pretty much an example of what the children of Israel are. This is why we are lights. We've been given these law, statutes, and commandments. We are supposed to be a light unto the world, a light unto the Gentiles. They are supposed to cleave unto us. 10 Gentiles grab it onto the shirt of them who is a Jew, so they can be taught the ordinances and the laws. The priest's lips should keep knowledge. Out of his mouth shall stay the law. Like, he's supposed to know these things, and we've the ones who've been elected to teach the world these statutes and these ordinances, so that the Most High's name can be exalted through the earth. All right, and so that's the job of that priest, and this is why that will be reestablished during that 1,000-year reign. And this is why it's important to understand who the Israelites are, and to understand that, yes, it's going to be a hierarchy. Yes, there's going to be people who are going to be handmaids and servants. There are going to be people who are going to be ruling. There are going to be garrisons throughout this nation of, Israelite garrisons throughout the nations that are going to make sure that everybody is staying in order during that 1,000-year reign, and nobody's trying to buck on the authority of the Messiah, okay? And so I want you to just go back and just gather all of that. I know I said a lot, and it's what I'm saying, just to make this not a 2-hour, 3-hour class, which I got plenty of slides to do that, and but just to give you a synopsis on those two periods, so we can stop conflating that and really look at the text for what it is. And we can stop some of the apologetics, because the apologetics really are just for the point of we getting it right. You know what I'm saying? Like, apologetics shouldn't just be a thing that's just continual. Like, once we get it right, then we should, we can move on to another topic. But we have the apologetics here in order because there are some things that are problematic. There is some understanding that is problematic. And I think a lot of that comes down to us just conflating these two periods and not really understanding the roles of the Gentiles, the roles of God's elect, role of God's chosen people, his royal priesthood, his peculiar nation, and why he made them set apart and made them holy. And understanding even in Acts 15 when he's telling the Gentiles that they don't only have to do this and this and this, but the Israelites have to do all of these other things because the priests were set apart. They had to do other things. And again, like, listen, I can go on and on and on and on. I hope this thing was edifying, but really this is just for you to go and you take it and get your own understanding, right? I'm not here to teach you the whole lesson on it. I'm just here to give you enough, just an appetizer, all right? Not even an appetizer. It's an appetizer plus, you got this fancy entree, you know what I'm saying? But it just wasn't enough food. You going to them fine dining restaurants, you know what I'm saying? You're spending $150 a plate, $200 a plate, and they bring you out this little 4-ounce filet, and you know what I'm saying, some carrots, and some carrots and some Brussels sprouts. And you leave that thing, you still hungry, and so then you have to go out and go get you something to eat. And so that's what this pretty much is. This is one of those expensive entrees. It's for you to go out and go get the rest of that meal, man. With that, I say shalom. Hope it was edifying to the body. Peace.